this is Black History Month, and we actually need to remember the history of black folks instead of just the little things that they put up. Who invented the street light, who invented the peanut butter. Let's remember the history, and with that history, there always comes some negative history. I want y'all to remember that what I have up on the screen. This is from Getty Images. This was in 1948, so it wasn't that long ago. The colored folks had to enter in the rear, so I don't want y'all to forget that.
Right.
Like literally within the lifetime of your grandparents, maybe even your parents, depending on who you are and who you are listening. This was a reality for these people. So within a generation, this won't that long ago that people had to enter in the rear because they weren't deemed well enough to enter in the front. Now, granted, this is just a plain door, not even a good step. It looks like they should have a watch your step sign right here at this little hole in the wall. But at this hole in the wall right here, and this is in Maryland, by the way, at this hole in the wall right here, you black people or people of color literally had to enter in the rear. So I just wanted to bring this up, and this is your Black History fact of the day. But don't forget about that because it ain't. We are not that far removed. But yeah, what do y'all think about that, man?
It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, you got kids now, man. They probably can't even imagine like that happening.
They couldn't live through
So
that.
I mean, it's so it's so tight now. Like everybody's mingles with everybody now, and like so. I mean, the younger kids, so they couldn't even picture that. So I think it's critical that you keep that alive and keep them knowing that look how far we came.
Yeah,
Not just trying to peel back old wounds and stuff like that, because a lot of people are like, man, we y'all keep bringing up the past to the third, but bring it up so it won't repeat itself.
exactly.
Exactly. How is she
Don't
gonna
tell me.
learn?
Yeah,
Don't tell me not to bring up the past. When first of all, this is that not long ago past. Number one,
yeah,
and number two, why we want to focus on the positives and we can't focus on the negatives? You need to find a mixture of both.
yeah. But
And like
I,
I said, people wanna have an agenda to say, well, they're teaching my kids that they're not that they were that they're evil and all these other things. No, they teaching your kids they history. This is all our history. This just isn't black history. This is just history. Number one, it's just history. So we got to talk about it. You know what I mean? And then Melissa says, bring it up because some racist cycles have not been broken either. Yeah, you can go to certain communities and like they would still prefer this to be a thing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's insane.
like there are still people
But
want to
my thing
sometimes won't
is,
acknowledge it.
so for it to be like this now, you got so many races out races. You got so many ethnicities and stuff like that. How many doors you want to have?
It don't matter. It's either white.
I'm
It's
just
white,
saying though, like
right,
how many
or
doors
it's
you want to
colored and
have now?
wrong.
Go ahead, go
No, they
ahead.
just
I'm gonna
gonna
still
have you
go through
come
the other
into
door.
they gonna have you come into the colored only door if you ain't white. That's where you go.
I'm gonna come
But
through
if
the.
it's
I'm gonna come to the other door and bring some color through it.
but the thing is now though,
Some gangster like that. Or something.
I don't think that could fly now because we got the opportunity now because why would they even shop in there? Think about it. We spend our money with us then. We go to our own place now. So that wouldn't fly now. I don't think it
Nah,
fly unless you
it
just be
wouldn't.
a hold up. Yeah, yeah, it still would because you still got rappers going to Gucci and crying because Gucci ain't giving them good service instead of they putting another our brand on and saying, hey, saying, giving me good service. When you
also
should be
you
you
could
should be repping the brand. You should be repping your brand.
right.
Right.
We still on that. So it probably even worse now.
Oh, it would be something because you got to remember this. Here's the thing: distribution is a setup. So if
Mm.
somebody was to actually, if separate but equal was somehow to get reinstated, you could literally have a separation of products as well.
What?
So then you end up getting
Oh,
these low quality products issued into the community in which you're being served and the other communities getting better stuff. It goes deep. You got to. It's a
I
situation.
disagree with that. I disagree with that because I
No,
feel like if they're gonna separate us, you can't take none. If let's say they the government, okay, so let's break it down. Don't accept nothing from the government. You building your own economy,
I'm not talking about the government. I'm
pretty
talking
much.
about your. I'm talking about the actual everything, the distribution of lines and everything, things that are distributed to you, not from the government. Forget the government. I ain't worried about the government. I'm talking about discrimination of product.
A product is what product?
Then the best part about this is that we're more global, so you can literally get your product from another country and it can be just as good. But if for whatever reason we end up having a like we close our borders, right,
Yeah,
and everything has to come from within. So it would have to be a whole step process and a whole big mess that I don't want to get into. But it could still be really bad. Is all I'm saying.
that's fine though. I mean, you grow your own stuff. You got your own economy. You start your own stuff. Like you self reliant.
I'm just
Only the
telling you.
strong survive, big dog.
Only the strong survive. You right about that.
Only the strong survive your own economy and stuff like that, you know. But you're gonna have
Yeah.
people hopping the fence on both sides, though. They want to go see. They think the grass is greener. Then they gonna come over here and think the grass is greener. So
Yeah.
you still gonna have that. But I'm just saying
Which
we
you
need to be
also get.
self-reliant.
You also get, and this is why one of the reasons why this episode is called fear, because you also get fear on that line, and when you get fear, you get people doing radical things, and that's when people's businesses start getting burnt down. That's when people's
Mm-hmm.
communities start getting burnt down. That's when
Mm-hmm.
people get to fighting, and that's when wars happen.
Wow.
So it could potentially snowball into something crazy. So that's why I say you never ever want to forget your history, and just separate never win. Together we survive and we strong. Separate and division will never get you anywhere but failure. It's just how that works. I mean, unless you disagree, or somebody in the comments disagrees as well.
I
I
feel
don't know.
like, hmm, I feel like as a whole, the world should be together. You just can't. I mean, I think the world should be together. But some people they mingle with they mingle with their crowd. I mean,
Yeah.
if you go to Spain, you're gonna see people. You're gonna see Spanish people. You go to Africa, and you're gonna see African people. You know,
Well, and it's now with that, in a lot of cases, it's what the area is built. But you do have white Africans. You know, you you have dark
Right.
skinned Spanish people. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got white Spanish people. It's a lot of different things depending on where you are because you got to remember, you know, immigration and it's immigration, but basically happened in a lot of different places. So people moved here, they moved there. Obviously, slaves were here and slaves were there. That's why. And, this is kind of a sensitive topic, but since we're here, we talk about it. When people get upset at people in like the I guess you call them Central American countries and the Caribbean and stuff, they get mad at them for using the N word. But you got to think about this. Like, literally, these people are descendants of the same slaves or very similar slaves to the ones that were exported to America. They just stopped first. But literally, they were treated the same way and called the same things, and they would have made it here. That's what they would have been. It's just a translation difference. But at the end of the day, they all considered them the same thing. So you can't get mad at this community for saying it. If literally they just descendants of the same slaves, they just in a different place. Y'all could be directly related, and you never know. You feel me?
Facts.
that's crazy. But do you think that I feel like the slaves that got dropped off first, they got theirs. I mean, they more together. I feel like us as like the Americans ones. I feel like they stayed so under that so long because they was kind of pampered in a way
Who was pampered?
compared to the ones in
So you saying the ones that were like in the Dominican and
like
Haiti and
Dominican
all
and
that
stuff like
stuff?
that like they fought back pretty soon.
Yeah, but they also some of those places were rougher than here. Like they had
That's what
like
I'm saying because it was more harsh. So they was
yeah.
like, man, forget this. But I feel like here they played more of a mind game type of deal, and try to selected a few to stay at the house and to play them a little bit better. They played them a little bit better.
Yeah, they played it, but they did similar things there too. It's just they treated them harsher just because of what what they needed, what they wanted them to do, and how they you know well, just how they treated them and what the product is that they wanted. It was wild out there for sure. But yeah, they rebelled, but also they still fighting issues to the day
Yeah.
to this day
So
there
I'm
too.
saying like places like Haiti, DR, and all that type of stuff. Like yeah,
Yeah, I mean
PR.
they definitely got some discrimination there on their end too, and they got a lot of colorism there now too. So it's just a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
It's a whole lot when you actually sit down and try to break down slavery, and you don't just focus on America. Like
It's
it's
tough.
wild.
It's tough.
But some folks, and this is just because of how they were educated. Some folks only think slavery happened in America, like the United States of America. Like they don't know that all slaves didn't go to the United States. Some people are ignorant to the fact that slavery was basically a global economy at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a central piece of the economy, and it made the world work. Now, granted, a lot of places started to make the slave trade illegal. So then, what happened here in the United States is once they made the slave trade illegal, then you know, then they started really trying to breed slaves. That's what they were doing. They were breeding slaves, so that way they could keep their their selection of slaves high. So they literally were out here just what I'm saying, all right, well, we're gonna get you, and y'all finna do the do, so y'all can make this baby out here, and we finna take this baby, and then we're gonna sell it because it's my property, because you're my property, and you my property, and we finna sell this. Like they literally made that go down, so
Right.
they can keep their stock of slaves high, because effectively they consider slaves to be like cattle. Effectively, you know what I mean? They just made them do more human tasks. Well, they made them do human tasks, but they considered them to be like cattle. You feel me? It's weird.
Right.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. But all I'm saying is, don't don't forget your don't forget your Black history because it's
Don't forget where you came from.
well, yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, like I mean, you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. You can say that. You can definitely say that. Uh, it's just I don't know, man. I just think that we definitely don't want to forget. But Durante, man, like, you got any input? Any other input for us? We move on. Because I just said a lot. I've been talking a lot. I
Yeah.
didn't mean
We
to
know.
talk that, but
We
hey,
know. You
man,
good.
The
I just
whole
don't want
buzz
people
of
to
the show
forget.
just went down. Like he started up, then we just
Because
No,
he long winded as my fault.
I'm not long winded. I'm
You
just
got a
letting y'all
short
know.
neck with a just long winded. Pause.
Hey, man, I'm just here to let y'all know to not. I don't want anybody that's black in any way. If you like
I love how he put
100% black or
that.
you 1% black, to forget your history.
He
If
said
you
that's black in
adopted
any way.
if you adopted into the black family because you with somebody that's black, you need to know their history because therefore you may have a child that is going to be considered black. So learn it however you want to learn it, but you need to know it to teach it.
It's black in any way.